Today I'm going to be reviewing these bass lures that I recently purchased from Truscend, I believe it's how it's pronounced. So there are actually 3 of them in the set, which I couldn't really find on the listing exactly how many were included. It had a picture of 3, so I assumed it was 3, but it does come with 3 in the set. These are also larger than I was anticipating them being, which is fine. The bass that I'm going to be fishing for are bigger bass, so I'm totally fine with that. But that is something to keep in mind. These are a bit larger. So let me go ahead and take them out of the box here, measure them up, show you exactly how big that they are. Now, all 3 of them are the exact same size, so there's no difference in regards to that. In regards to length, from the nose of the lure all the way to the tail is a little shy of 4 inches. So about 3 3/4, 3 7/8, something like that. And all 3 of them are going to be the same size lengthwise. Width, so from top to the bottom, it's going to be a hair over an inch, so about 1 1/8 inches or so on the width of these. So these are definitely bigger lures. Now, these are made of like a rubberized type material. I was expecting to be like a hard plastic, but it's actually more of a harder or a softer rubber plastic. So that was kind of surprising to me. The head is pretty hard, but then like the tail and throughout is kind of soft. Now these do move a good amount. So let me just show you the back and forth action there. So that should be really good in the water. I'm going to go ahead and test them out here, see if I catch any bass. I do have some bass here in the pond. So we're going to go ahead and try that out, see what kind of bass we can pull in with these. I'm going to go ahead and hook them up and that sort of thing. But as you can see, they have the brand across the top. They do have a variety of different colors. I went with these specific colors just because they look similar to the bluegill that are in the pond, especially on that one there. So, you know, gonna see exactly how well that they work. But let's go ahead and put it onto a line and see if we catch anything. So I got one of them hooked up here to my line on my rod and reel combo. One thing about this specific option is the fact that it is extremely heavy. Now that is good because you can cast it out a long ways depending on where you're at. However, that does mean you are going to have to reel pretty good to keep it from just kind of settling to the bottom too fast and getting a bunch of moss and gunk kind of gummed up inside of where the treble hooks are at. So let me throw it out, show you exactly how far out we can get, see if maybe we can catch a fish on it. Now these are really heavy lures, so they're going to sink down to the bottom quite quickly. So if you have a lot of woods or trees or moss or junk in the bottom of where you're fishing at, you are going to want to reel them in pretty fast so that way they don't kind of drift to the bottom and end up getting hung up or stuck. So that is something to keep in mind with this specific lure. Truthfully, I'm not a fan of how fast they fall. I prefer if they had a little more buoyancy in them, just because you're going to have to reel it mighty fast to be able to make sure that it's not getting tangled on the way in. Let me see if I can get it here in the water when I get it close to shore, how it swims. So it is going to move like a fish a bit, just kind of back and forth. So nice looking lure. Again, I'd prefer if they weren't quite as heavy, just because in my opinion, they sink way too fast. But they look good. Hopefully we'll be able to catch some bass with them. So I tried these lures a good bit. This pond does have a ton of bass in it, but I was not able to actually catch any on this. Now it is a pretty big lure, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. This is something to keep in mind, though. You know, if you mainly do small bass, then this lure might be too big for them, or maybe they don't chase after it. I'm not sure, but definitely haven't had any luck with these. Typically, we use just Senkos or rubber worms on this pond and have had good luck with catching bass, but not with these lures. So they do have the nice movement to them, like I said. So I think that they would work well to catch bass, just we haven't had any luck with them here on the pond.